they know somebody, and so you can ask them, hey, could you reach out to somebody with the Dallas Mavericks and see if I can come shadow them for a day, because the way that we were is that somebody helped us along the way, and so we want to give back and we want to help up and coming people as well, because that's the only way that you're going to learn and you can kind of take that experience.
The sports industry as a whole is growing really rapidly, but it's still a very, very small, tight-knit community as well. Like Kathryne mentioned, along the way we've had mentors that invested back into us. I really owe a lot of where I've come from and to where I've gotten today from a couple of people that spent a lot of time with me over the years and mentored me and helped me. And so I think it's really important to do that with the next group of up and coming sport management prospects, for lack of a better term to put it. And if that's one of you guys in this room, that's fantastic. If you want, like Kathryne said, if you want to come shadow us, come spend time with us, we'd love to have you. If you don't want to spend time with us, if you'd rather spend time with somebody on our ticket sales floor and see what sales is like, or accounting and finance and how that ties into sports, whatever it may be, we'll put you in touch with those people and reach out to people, figure out what your interests are and who matches up with that. One of the people that I really look up to in the sports world is Jim Lights with the Dallas Stars. And basically when I came down to Texas, I went to a Stars game. One of the first days I was down here just for fun. I was reading through the program and read his bio, learned a little bit about him. He's from Michigan, just like I am, got his start in sports and facility management and just worked his way up the ladder, and he's now basically the go-to guy for the Stars front office as a whole. He runs their whole operation. And so it's just phenomenal to kind of follow his career path and see where he's gone, see what he's done, and different things like that. So we all have those mentors that we look up to, the people that we kind of use for measuring sticks for ourselves or soundboards to bounce ideas off of. And the earlier you can get started with that, the better off you'll be.
So you've heard us say it a lot, find out what you're passionate about. We both enjoy going to work every single day. Again, I'm on paternity leave right now and I'm still working, so that tells you that I enjoy it enough to, in the little amount of sleep that you get with the newborn, that I get to work too. And so it's, again, a lot of fun, but you have to figure out what works for you and what may work for you, may not work for you, and just understanding that you don't have to go with what somebody else is doing. Like, look deep inside yourself, because you are going to spend a lot of time there, and so if you're not enjoying it, then those hours, you're going to be counting them. And then something else that we like to say is just, you're not a fan. Again, you don't get to watch the game. You're there to work. And so you need to really distinguish that. And again, if baseball is something that you enjoy watching, don't work in baseball, because you're not going to enjoy watching it anymore. We can go to Texas Rangers games, and when we go to Texas Rangers games, we like work, because we're like, okay, what are they doing for entertainment? What does the facility look like? What is this? What is that? And so I grew up, as a Rangers fan, getting to go to games and things like that, because I grew up here in Texas, and now it's a whole different atmosphere whenever you're on the business side of sports and working. And Kelsey can probably tell you, going to a RoughRiders game versus working a RoughRiders game is a little bit different. And it's a whole new aspect of everything. So really understand that. And then whenever you do get the opportunities to shadow or network or intern, be all in. And if you're coming to shadow us for a day, then you're going to see me and I'm going to be on my phone a lot or be on our radio, because that's our way of communicating. But if you're there to shadow, then you shouldn't be on your phone, and you shouldn't. And I'm not saying that Kelsey did great. So this isn't about Kelsey. This is other students that we have had to come. I'm looking at that, and so if someone calls me and says, "Hey, this person said that they shadowed you. They're interviewing for a job. What did you think?" And I'm be honest, because that's my name now attached to you, and I'm gonna say, well, they didn't really pay attention. They didn't ask questions. They were on their phone the whole time. Same thing goes with our interns whenever we hire them. It's kind of a 13-week job opportunity, job interview, if you will. Every day you show up, we're interviewing you. And so keep that in mind. And even in your internships right now that you're doing, your supervisors are watching you. again, because you're gonna go out and you're gonna put the Frisco RoughRiders on your resume, and you're gonna put somebody's, whoever your supervisor's name is, and they're gonna get a call. And like we said, the sports industry in and of itself, it's really, really big, but it's really, really small. And we all talk to one another. Someone knows somebody at every organization or has worked with them, and so whenever your name pops up for a open job, they're gonna call and they're gonna check it out, you know, do those references. And so just be sure that, again, that you have a great opportunity, so invest and be all in and work as hard as you can. You know, we've both been former interns with the RoughRiders, and they believed in us and they saw something through our hard work and our efforts, and they hired us on full time afterwards. So it goes without saying, if you work hard, there's going to be opportunities, sometimes not within that organization, but within the sports industry.
Kelsey's a good example, because she came back from that shadow day, and she said to me, I was working this table helping out, and there's a guy at the table next to me, and he knew you. Me. And I'm like, who? And she told me it was Ty Brown from the American College Football Association in Waco. And he's a pretty big guy in that organization nationally, and he's written a book and things like that. He goes, oh yeah, I know about your program from Twitter. So now all of a sudden, here's my card, tell them to call me. If I'm in town, I want to talk. That's, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And
You're passing out seats.
and she made the connection going, wait a minute. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yep.
All right, a little bit about game day staff. I know a lot of you are going to be gearing up for some summer jobs and things like that to stay busy during summer. Also look for a little bit of that experience as you head off to college and get your start in the sports industry. In terms of opportunities, we offer seasonal employment from April through September. Pretty straightforward, start of baseball season to the end of baseball season, early April through early September. A variety of different positions. We have ticket takers, ushers. Unfortunately, some of you guys might like to, but I'm probably not going to put a high school student in a security type role, but it would be something to explore if we needed to. On top of that, we also have our team store, our ticket office, and food and beverage as well. So there's a wealth of opportunities there. I oversee the ushers, ticket takers, and security. I have about 85 jobs every year that are available. The team store has about 10 positions, ticket office has about 10, and then food and beverage has around 150. So there's tremendous job opportunity there. How you get involved with is we have job fairs at the end of January each year on a couple different days, usually a weeknight and a Saturday or two. You come out to the ballpark, bring a resume with you, sit down and have a conversation with me for a few minutes, and I'll get to know you a little bit, see where you're a fit with the organization, and we'll go from there. Some of the benefits of working on the game day staff, if you're pursuing sports management as a career interest or career opportunity, you could get acquainted with the front office staff. That initially starts with me being a member of the front office staff. We build a relationship. As you get comfortable and work around the ballpark in different areas, you'll talk to people in our sales department. You'll talk to people in corporate sponsorship. You'll talk to our executive team. Our executive team is at every home game. They're around the ballpark just like us. They're not absentee owners. Our main ownership group between Scott Sanju or Chuck Greenberg, one of them's at pretty much every home game. So you'll have interactions with them as well. You'll learn game operations and what happens behind the scenes. You'll see every aspect of what goes into getting a baseball game ready, and not just what occurs on the field, what the fans see, but you'll see the back end of that, the planning, the communicating, the processes themselves, the promotions we run, how they operate, how it all ties together. At the very least, you'll hear about them. I have meetings every single day with the game day staff. I stand up in front of them and run them through the entire game, what's going to be happening, what I need them to do, how it correlates, different things they need to execute and carry out. And then last but not least, the item we touched on a handful of times already, is you enter college with experience ahead of the game. I would say probably 85% of the interns we have each year come in with some sort of experience doing marketing or promotions at their colleges. if you guys are going into those roles with some experience already, you're shoe-ins for those positions, which with that experience built up, you're then shoe-ins for internships. It really just helps grease the wheels for your career development as a whole. Expectations to have if you were in that position, of course, do you get to watch baseball? No, you don't. You're busy. You're interacting with fans, you're running around the ballpark, you're doing whatever I need you to do during the game. There are some of those positions that get to see a little bit more of the game than others, but if you're planning on showing up to the ballpark and watching 9 innings of baseball a game, you might as well just stay at home and wait for the Rangers to come on at 7:05. In terms of schedule and environment, it's baseball season. It's the summer, it's hot, it's outdoors. Unlike Arlington, we won't be passing a referendum to have a closed roof stadium anytime soon. So you better be prepared to be outside, get a little hot and sweaty, get a little thirsty. It's the reality of the baseball season. Homestands, could be as short as 4 games, could go 12 games. We've had 12-game homestands in a row. That means you're showing up at the ballpark by 5 p.m. and you're leaving around 10 or 11 at night for that many days straight. On the game day staff, you don't necessarily have to work every game. Our impetus is to have you work the weekend games. That's when our needs are the busiest. And then we'll squeeze in some off days throughout there to keep you fresh and not wear you out by any stretch. But it's really up to you in terms of scheduling as well. If you want to work every game, I can get you in on every game. We have a handful of people that do that on the game day staff too because they love it that much. But lastly, in terms of expectations too, it is a job you're expected to carry out. What's asked of you and what you're responsible for. It's not a social hour. It is fun. It's a different environment. It's not your average job. You're at a ballpark providing entertainment to people. So it is a little more casual in that sense. But it's not a social hour. If you have a friend at the game, you don't get to go down to their seats and hang out with them. You can say hi when they pass by or whatever it might be. If you're working out at the Choctaw Lazy River, you don't get to swim, you don't get to do different things. You're expected to conduct yourself in a professional manner. And I don't say all those things to necessarily scare you away or scare you off or anything like that. I'm just trying to be realistic and upfront with you with what my expectations are as the supervisor.
Questions?
A lot of different things. Do you have any questions? I hope somebody has some, because if not.
Do you think they need sports management degrees to work in sports?
No. It depends on what area you want to be in. Media relations, you could probably be okay with journalism, different things like that. Accounting and finance. Accounting and finance is a good degree there. So it just depends on the area that you're going into. Sport management is very general for, the marketing, ticket sales, sponsorships, things like that. But once you get into more specialized areas, especially our accounting and finance, he has to have that background. And he's sat and passed the test, whatever that is, that the accounting and finance people take. Because he was CPA, thank you. He was with Frisco RoughRiders before joining our staff, so sport management wasn't going to help him.
And for me personally, as I develop further into the facility management side of things, I can make a strong argument for having majored in a facility engineering or construction or project management degree program. I think if you're looking at facilities, that's a strong route to go. But I would also advise to utilize some of your electives or possibly do a minor in sports management just to get a better handle on the sports industry as a whole and how it works, how it all ties together. Like we said before, working in sports, you're going to do a little bit of everything. And so if you have that baseline knowledge of how it all ties together, it'll service you very well throughout your career.
Are there any classes that you're seeing that your interns and your fresh out of college students should have taken to be better acclimated to working in the industry?
Universities are getting better with their sport management program specifically. This past year, we were actually, we speak at A&M as well, in their sport management program, and they sent out a survey of what we recommend. So we recommended an actual facilities class to where they're learning about that. We've both been fortunate in that area. Whenever I was at Midlothian, I actually got to help design the new Midlothian Heritage High School in their field house. So different things like that, that would have been helpful had I had a course in that to know instead of just kind of learning as you go. So that's what we're seeing the trend more is universities are reaching out to organizations to find out those specific classes. Event planning, facilities is big ones.
I think as the sports industry continues to grow like it has over the past 5-10 years, and continues to ramp up, I think we're going to see some of the more specialization of those classes. Facilities is what I do every day, so it's what I keep going back to, but I took a sports facilities class in college that, for lack of a better term, in terms of real world applications, it was a joke. You know, we covered HVAC systems, I think, for like 15 minutes. But the real, like, HVAC systems is what I do probably 75% of my building management time.
He's talking about air conditioning.
Yeah, heating, and air conditioning, basically. And so it kind of goes back to doing the research on the programs as well. I would really stay away from the sport management programs that tie into kinesiology departments. It's basically sports science and health. They tend to focus more on performance and coaching side of sports management, where if you're looking at sports management from a business standpoint, if you can get into one that's at least engaged or interacting with the business school, if not a part of the business school, you're going to be better off career-wise.
Why did you choose to work in minor league versus major league?
Let's see. For me, I think it was just like the smaller knit community, and to where I like to do a lot of things, and we're both the same way. We don't really like to sit at a desk. And so to be up and going, and with minor league, you get a hand in everything. And while I work in the partner services department, I've done everything that we listed out before. And so, you know, being at the collegiate level, being at the middle school and high school level in the sports industry, I got to see a lot of different things. And so then that kind of helped me over in minor league. Well, I've never worked for the Texas Rangers, but what I've heard with the Texas Rangers is very departmentalized, and so you do what your department is, and that's fine, that works for some people, but for me, I like to do a lot of different things, so it was a nice variety.
For me, it's pretty much the same thing, just breadth of experience. Working for a minor league team, I control all aspects of facility operations. Everything that goes on funnels through me in that regard. If I worked for a Texas Rangers or whatever the major league team may be, I might be in charge of cleaning, or I might be in charge of security, or something like I'm going to be very segmentalized. I'll make that word up. That's a good one. And not be able to have that range of experience. So.
Anybody else? Did you absorb it all? You good?
Thanks for letting us go over too.
Oh, you're fine.
Well, if y'all do develop any other questions,